Yo, what's up? KMZX18 Sports here, and we're back with another video, and this time is about the NBA playoffs. Woo! That's right, guys. The playing is done. Actually, the playoffs started today. Oh, well, to be fair, I already have my predictions of the first round. I just didn't have time to actually post the video until now. Whoops. I mean, look, man, work sucks, but we gotta earn that money somehow. Unless I get famous in YouTube, maybe. But all right, guys, like I said, the playing is done. The playoff is now on. Actually, the first few games has already been done and dusted. But like I said, thankfully, I already have my teams who I think is gonna win or not, my predictions essentially. So that's the video is gonna be, and also a little recap of the playing a little because my predictions were not. I mean, some were spot on, some were definitely not. I'm about to play some backlash with my favorite team here. Whoops. But oh well, it is what it is. I'm objective, at least I can say. But yeah, man. So let me like set this the scenario. But yeah, give me one second. Set this up real quick. All right, guys, we're here, and like I said, man, let's see how my predictions went. But let's start with these. First, well, I was way off with this one. In my prediction video of the plane, I said the Bulls will beat the Heat, and we'll actually no, let's start with the eighth and 7-8. So the Magic played the Hawks, and I actually predict the Orlando Magic gonna beat the Hawks because like the Magic has found form at the tail end of the season, and not only that, the Hawks were honestly mid towards the end of the season. So I thought the Magic would have the momentum going to this matchup, and they did. They beat the Hawks soundly, and honestly, good for the Magic, man, because the Magic was decimated by injuries. But they rebounded so well. And yeah, man, good luck to the Celtics, man. I do have a prediction on that one, but I'll save my prediction on that one. But yeah, um, respect to the Magic, painfully, but respect to the Magic. As for the ninth and 10th seed, I actually predicted the Bulls beat the Heat. Boy, when that game ended, I was like, yeah, I should have known better. The Heat just owned the Bulls in the play, and that's 3 straight years the Heat just ended the Bulls season. That's tough. And not only that, just like the Heat, I don't know why. I don't know why. They just, when it comes to the playing, like when the backs are against the wall, they turn up. I don't know. I just don't know. And yeah, man, I don't know what to say really. Just whoops. I was wrong on that one, dead wrong. It's but don't provoke my Heat fandom, please. I'm a Heat fan, trust me. And then but that leads to the Hawks versus Heat. And in my initial prediction, I said the Bulls will beat the Hawks and they'll beat the 8th seed. Well, that's where I'm wrong again because the Heat beat the Bulls and then the Heat beat the Hawks. Although that was a great game, man. Shout out to Davion Mitchell, man. That mother effer is a dog, bro. But yeah, so the Heat beat the Hawks in overtime and they advance and the Hawk goes home. Sucks for Atlanta fans, man. Y'all can't seem to, ever since that conference final run, y'all just can't seem to find players around Trae Young, man. Maybe it might be time for a rebuild for Atlanta, but I don't know. I ain't no Hawks fan, so any Atlanta fans, just let me comment down below what you guys think. But that's right, and yes. So with that, the Heat are in the playoffs now, and also they are the first 10th seed to actually they're the first 10th seed to actually make it to the playoffs. So shout out to the Heat, man. Playing like they're the playing freaking gods. I don't know if that's good or bad, but hey, man, I'm all for the ride. You know what I mean? All right, but that's the East. Now let's go to the West. Now, the 10th and 9th seeds were the Mavericks against the Kings. I predict the Kings to beat the Mavericks due to all the injuries and turmoil. But no, the Kings just laid the fattest egg against the Mavericks. And honestly, the Kings should have won that game. Well, actually, no, they just didn't turn up, bro. I was actually very surprised the Kings just they didn't turn up. I don't know what to say. But yeah, but the Mavericks beat the Kings, and then actually I keep it's supposed to be the other way around. But I'll go back to that one. But the Grizzlies and the Warriors, the Grizzlies I predicted the well no I predicted the Warriors to beat the Grizzlies, but I was kind of like maybe hoping like fingers crossed like the Grizzlies can turn up and beat the Warriors and the Warriors be eliminated from the play-in to get their draft pick. But yeah, well, that didn't happen. That was hard. I was like, I already predicted the Warriors to beat the Grizzlies. I was just wishful thinking on my end. But yeah, so Warriors beat the Grizzlies, so they're the seventh seed, and then the Mavericks played the Grizzlies, and I said the Grizzlies were going to beat whoever the Kings in this match, and they'll beat the eighth seed, and I was right on that end. The Grizzlies beat the Mavericks. And honestly, good for the Grizzlies after the seasons they went through. And also, just because I didn't want the Mavericks to be in the playoffs, especially because you know what they did to Luka. That's some scummy ass shit that the Mavericks did to Luka. They did Luka dirty, and now look at them. At least the Lakers are the top three seed with Luka, while the Mavericks are going home. They're going Cancun. So yeah, man, I'm just happy for for Luka and all that. And yeah, I'm happy that the Mavericks lost. So, but I was right. At least I was right about the Grizzlies beating the AC. So there's that. But with that, we have let's go with the East first. Cavaliers versus Heat, Pacers versus Bucks, Knicks versus Pistons, Celtics versus Magic in the first round, and then in the East and the West is Thunder versus Grizzlies, Nuggets versus Clippers, Lakers versus Timberwolves, and Rockets versus Warriors. I'm not gonna lie, there's some pretty like I'm actually looking forward to some of the the first round of the of this year, man. But now you know what you're here for, my predictions. But let's start with these. The Heat against the Cavaliers. All right, look, man. I don't know why. I know the Heat love to be like the Heat are like the Heat are sickos, man. They do it the hard way, but they're in the playoffs. I still don't know what to think of them, honestly, just because they had a very mid season, and they're playing against a team that honestly has like almost twice their wins this season, 37-64. Yeah, so but but you know what though? I'm gonna give the Heat. I know the Cavs are a much better team. They have better players, but I'll say the Heat will at least get one game in the series. But unfortunately, it's gonna be Cavaliers 4-1, and yeah, that's a because the Heat just don't have the firepower. I mean, they're a good defensive team, but offensively, I still see lapses that like I said, he had a lead against the Hawks, and they still came back and forced overtime. So, like I said, man, I just don't know. When it comes to the Heat, I just don't know. But what I think is, but I think the Cavaliers gonna win the series 4-1. I'll give the Heat one. Pacers versus Bucks. If I remember correctly, the Pacers won today, and honestly, I predicted the Pacers to beat the Bucks 4 games to 2. I'm because of two reasons. One, I feel like the Pacers are a better matchup against the Bucks. I felt the same way last year, and not only that, Dame is out. He was out today, so yeah, that doesn't help the Bucks at all, honestly. And you can't stop Giannis, but you can contain him. So for me personally, I said the Pacers 4-2 against the Bucks. The Knicks versus Pistons. Hey man, shout out to the Pistons, bro. Last season, they I think they lost like 27 straight games in a row. People like all man, every Pistons fans was like honestly just depressed, really. But shout out to them, man. What a turnaround, man. From the like near the bottom of the NBA to the 6th seed. What else can you say? But unfortunately, I'm gonna have to give. I will go with the Knicks 4-2 here. I'll give the Pistons 2 games, but I think the inexperience of the young core for the Pistons is gonna come back on them. And I feel like the Knicks, they've been here. They've been a playoff team for like the last 3 or 4 years now. And yeah, man, as much as I really do like the Pistons, I really like the young core. Kate Cunningham is coming alive, but I gotta go with the Knicks, man. I'm gonna say 4-2 though. Celtics versus Magic. Again, like the Magic are one of the best. Like their defense is ferocious, man. But I just don't trust their offense. Like I kid you not, guys. It wouldn't surprise me one big if the Magic like held the Celtics to like, let's say, 83 points, but they lose 83 to 81 or something. Like that's how I feel about the Magic. Honestly, I feel it feels like the Grizzlies of the 2010s, the Green Grind era. That's what they remind me of, like a little mini version of them. But great defense, but holy crap, their offense is just not there. And unfortunately, I want them. Honestly, I'll be rooting for the Magic, but I just don't see it, man. And honestly, I think the Celtics will beat them 4-2 as well. But it'll be a dogfight though because of their defense. All right, now we go to the West. Thunder versus Grizzlies. I shout out to the Grizzlies, shout out to John Morant, but nah, this could be either sweep or gentleman's sweep. But you know what? I'm gonna give Ja 1 game. The Thunder are just so good, man. So great. Yeah, this is Thunder. Thunder are definitely winning this series, and it's gonna be like 4-1 or sweep. I'm gonna say 4-1 because John. I'll give Ja one. I'll give him 1 game. Nuggets versus Clippers. Now this right here. Oh, I forgot who won. I think the Clippers won. I could be wrong on that. But honestly, I was back and forth with this one. This one I have no idea because if you'd have told me like a month ago, I would say the Nuggets. But firing Malone, their head coach, like what, like just not even a week or 2 weeks before the playoffs. I feel like that's gonna hurt them a little bit. So yeah, you know what, man? I really thought about this long and hard, but I think the Clippers might beat the Nuggets like 4-3, man. I feel like this is gonna be a 7 game series, but I feel like the Clippers are actually gonna beat the Nuggets, man. And it sucks because like I said, the Nuggets, man, like 2 years ago they were one of the best teams. And last year, they didn't do a really good job of like, getting like the improvement after winning the championship, and it's really coming back to bite them now. So yeah, can't believe I'm saying this, but Clippers in 7, unless Kawhi Leonard is not healthy, because we all know his injury history. If Kawhi goes out, Nuggets are winning this series. But if Kawhi stays healthy, Clippers in 7. Lakers versus Timberwolves. The Timberwolves won pretty easily today. I remember that. Um, and honestly, I this is another game I was going back and forth, but a lot of people are picking the Lakers. I'm the opposite. I'm gonna pick the Timberwolves actually, and because I feel like they're like a good matchup against the Lakers in my opinion. But obviously, Luca, LeBron, they're gonna cost Timberwolves some fits, but I don't know. I for some reason I see 4-2 to the Timberwolves. I could be wrong. And also maybe because like their Lakers lack of backcourt is just, like I their center and power forward, yeah, there's really nothing really there defensively. So I can see the Timberwolves like exploiting that. So yeah, 4-2 Timberwolves in my opinion. And now this next one, oh man, this is the one like Rockets versus Warriors. And look, the Rockets are a young team. They're really good defensively, but the Warriors been there. Oh man, you know what? I'm gonna say the Warriors in 7, man, begrudgingly because I feel like the Rockets could actually beat this Warriors team, but But I just feel like the Warriors are just too experienced for them, man. But and for that reason alone, I'll say Warriors in 7. So yeah, so my first one is Cavaliers, Pacers, Knicks, Celtics, and for the East and the West is Thunder, Clippers, Timberwolves, and Warriors. That is my prediction of the first one. Who's gonna make it out of the first round? And yeah, let me know what you guys think. All right, guys, that's it for me. Like and subscribe below. Help a brother out. And yes, I will do some because now that he are in the playoffs, I will do some like highlights for them and also some other highlights from other teams as well. If the game is like really good, I would do it tonight, but I'm getting tired actually. Freaking 12 hour. I mean, not 12 hours. Holy shit! Imagine doing 12 hours of freaking retail. Fuck me on that one. Like 8 hours of work gets you, man. Fucking hell. All right, guys. I'll see you then, though. Peace.